Welcome, everyone. My name is Dr. Lauren Lieberman, and I'm a professor at SUNY Brockport. And I'm here with my colleague, Dr. Michelle Grenier, who's an emeriti faculty from University of New Hampshire, and she's president of NICPED and also an adjunct at University of South Carolina. Just a little about me. I'm a distinguished service professor at SUNY Brockport. I'm the founder of Camp Abilities, and I love ultimate frisbee and any outdoor adventure activity.
Hi, everybody. Again, as Lauren introduced myself, I am Dr. Michelle Grenier. Thank you, president of NICPED. Lauren loves to play ultimate frisbee. I love to swim. Okay, so we're going to share a little bit about universal design for learning, and Lauren and myself are going to go through 5 easy steps for implementing universal design for learning in your program. So the first thing is, some of you may wonder, what is universal design for learning, or UDL? It's pretty simple. Basically, the primary word is design. It's really thinking about planning the learning environment, how you teach, the development of assessments that accurately reflect student learning throughout the entire class. And there's a fundamental principle that underlies UDL, and that is the variability of learning. And as we know, considering COVID and everything else, what we're seeing is such a range of student variability in their skill and in their expression of learning. So UDL, the time is right for UDL.
Thank you, Michelle. Also, what's really important is that UDL starts at the lesson planning phase. It's not an afterthought. It's embedded within the lesson. In addition, it's not just the variation of the rules and equipment. You have to also include, in addition to the variation of the rules and equipment and instruction, we have to teach the traditional rules as well as the variations to ensure that all students are included, and also to make sure that the kids know what the traditional rules are so they know how to self-advocate when they get out into the community.
Thank you, Lauren. And just to reiterate, so what Lauren is saying, it's not something unique that you teach. It's not a unique way of teaching, but it's really, again, thinking about how you are going to teach those activities that we all know in a way that makes learning accessible to all of our students. And so we have a couple of questions we want you to think about as you look at the 5 steps for implementing UDL. And as you look at your classroom as a learning environment, how do you as a teacher, for example, utilize peer supports? How are students learning from each other? When you deliver your instruction, what are some of the ways that you're addressing the various sensory systems? So we know as teachers, we teach through talking. Are there visuals there? Is there sign? Is there modeling? And then how about assistive technology? And assistive technology, again, could be one of those words that seems a little elusive, but think of equipment design as assistive technology, or the PECs, or the communication systems that you use. So it's any sort of methods that you use to help learning. And then again, we want to really think about how do we utilize what we just named to make learning accessible for all of our students. That means that there's not someone sitting on the side, there's not somebody sitting out, or the competent bystander that we often see in physical education.
And then also we want to find out, are all of our students engaged with their full potential through the entire class? Look around. You know your students. Are they really fully engaged, and are they trying their best, and are they being challenged? We have to reflect on that, and you have to think about that when we're going through this presentation. So UDL, the foundation of UDL are these 3 components. Multiple means of engagement is 1. Multiple means of representation is 2. And multiple means of action and expression is 3. So engagement is, how do you motivate your students? How do you stimulate their interests and motivate them? Find out what they're excited about. So for example, what equipment do they like? Give them a variety of equipment. Are the games and rules modified to address multiple learning domains? Also, are you presenting the information as far as representation in multiple ways? Are you demonstrating? Are you showing videos? Are you letting the kids try it and giving them feedback? Are you giving them visual and physical feedback while they're doing the activity? How are you presenting that material? You have to do it in a multiple variety of ways. And lastly, action and expression, which I think of as how are you going to assess what they know? How are they going to show you what they know? Understand that there are a lot of ways for students to perform their global learning objectives. So we're allowing for a variety of skills that meet particular learning outcomes. Do I have to always throw forward? Can I throw backward? Can I also utilize their answers on a computer or on a video as opposed to in the gym? Recognize that students' abilities are going to be different.
Thank you, Lauren. Again, those three components of UDL: engagement, representation, and action and expression. And as we go through the 5 steps, again, think of design, because it's really about the teacher's planning and thoughtfulness, and accessibility. How is everybody engaged in the learning? So Lauren's going to take us through step 1.
So step 1 is basically, what are your goals? What is your goals for the lesson and how are you going to get there? It's kind of like backwards design. We're looking at the goals and how are we going to get the students to that point? And so we want to know, is everyone able to access the learning environment and the content you want to teach? And you're going to do that by multiple means of representation, action and expression, and engagement. What are some of the ways that you'll measure their success? How are you going to know if the students learned what you want them to know? How are they going to show you that? And what are some potential outcomes? Are there variations in the outcomes that reflect what the students know? It's okay if a child serves the volleyball closer to the net. It's okay if maybe they run with a peer to get them motivated. All these things are okay, and as long as they're getting the students towards their objective.
I love it. It's okay. We want them to be engaged and active. And again, how are we doing that? Once we identify the goals, and it's not a secret what the goals should be, how are we teaching and delivering the content, irrespective of what we're teaching? Our peers, as we mentioned in the beginning of the presentation, our students learn from each other. Are you modeling? Are you providing equipment so that everybody can have the opportunity to respond in time on task? So looking at those ways, are you presenting information so that it's verbal, visual, and auditory? And really reinforcing that. It's not one and done. It's reinforcing learning, going back, checking for learning. So again, representation, that second component of UDL, is all about delivering the content. And particularly, again, as we go back to COVID, what we're seeing is some kids have really lost some of what they may have gained before. So reinforcing those skills in multiple ways is really important. And UDL will allow you to, and at least encourage you to think about how you do that.
Now, step 3 is identifying motivational strategies. Step 1, or part 1 of UDL, is engagement. What makes your kids excited? What movies do they like? What music do they like? What are some of their role models, their sport role models? What will help them continue to engage? How are you going to challenge them? What challenges them? Music. What equipment do they like? What are the variations of equipment that they like? What are some rewards? Our kids love parachute. They love the scooters. We have a 7-person bike. That's a great reward. What will they do anything for? We also have to recognize their accomplishments, what they do well. Giving them that positive feedback and recognition when they deserve it is really important. And again, who are their role models? What makes them excited? And having those symbols around the room will be really helpful. Maybe it's an entire team. I mean, for us, it's the Buffalo Bills. They'll do anything for the Bills. So who are your role models? And so you can think of some other motivational strategies for your students, I'm sure.
Great. Thank you, Lauren. Step 4, measure learning. Assessment, evaluation, just know what you're looking for and how you're going to do it. So it's not a one size fits all and everybody should meet this certain criteria. Yes, they should meet a criteria, but not the same criteria necessarily, particularly if you've got that variability of student learning. So one of the easy ways that I look at it is there a mild, medium, and spicy option. You've got 3 different phases, 3 different ways of representing a learning. And as you see in that square in that box, what you're going to see is some kids may just beginning to learn the skills. Some may have it much stronger, much clearer, and some, depending on their experience, particularly in the last couple of years, may be much more advanced. So within that gymnasium setting, how are you providing multiple opportunities for students to express their learning? And what we can see here in this assessment, let's say it's upper body strength or a push-up, is we have students on the floor, in a plank position, demonstrating a typical push-up the way we may know it. But then again, you may have students against the wall, with limited strength, or, but you want them to be successful. But then again, you also wanted them to demonstrate learning and set up a challenge that way. And finally, if you have someone, again, who isn't able to use their legs, ambulate, can you use the chair for them to be able to push themselves up? So what we have here is, again, 3 different ways of illustrating learning. Again, what's the progress that's being made? And again, at the outset, as Lauren had mentioned, identify what your goal is. And at the end, what is it that you want the students to demonstrate in their learning?
And lastly, step 5, identify stakeholders, reflect, and respond. So basically, what would you change? Look at your lesson, look at your students' engagement, look at the outcomes, look at their potential, your objectives. What's working? What's not working? What do you need to change? Observe their progress and motivation. Do you need to set up another level of challenge? Do you need to knock it down a notch and make it a little more mild and not so spicy? And then again, are they meeting the goals and objectives that you set out for the lesson to the best of their ability? You can also ask a peer, a fellow teacher, maybe the classroom teacher, maybe an administrator, a colleague, to observe you. Give some feedback. Give them your lesson plan. Let them know your universally designed options and see if they think that you're meeting them or not. I would even go as far as asking the students, how did it go today? Did you try your best? Could you have done better? What would have helped you? And if anybody wants a validated rating scale, you can click on this when you get this PowerPoint. It's called the Lieberman-Bryan Inclusion Rating Scale for Physical Education, that literally does give you the checks and balances from when the kids walk into the gym until they leave, and you can actually give yourself a score of how much effort you put into your inclusion. We encourage you to use this instrument as it's a valid instrument, and it's pretty easy to understand.
Thanks, Lauren. And finally, let me just say something before I turn it over to Lauren. Is universal design for learning is a way of thinking about your teaching, your class, the classroom environment. We put it all together, and as we move forward, what we hope for you is that you take these 5 easy steps and then consider how you can create an environment so that all students are learning and accessing the curriculum. And again, this is a textbook that we have, and I'll let Lawrence finish up and then we can say goodbye.
Thank you for Michelle for being part of this. We also just want to thank Human Kinetics for everything they do for kids and kids with disabilities, all children. And then if anybody has any questions or you want us to come to your school or do any consulting, please feel free to email us and connect with us, because we love this. We really value all children, and we want to make sure everybody's included in all physical education classes.
Thanks, everybody. Check us out, and we will hope to see you again.